This is Tech Pulse, a show that keeps you in step with the technological world and one step ahead of everybody else. I'm your host, Hartley Reginald Smith II. Let's start the show. What's up? What's up? Everybody, it's once again another Monday, April 15th, 2013. And for those of you that don't know, that is officially tax day. So if you haven't filed your taxes, I don't know what to tell you, but you got until, I don't know what it is, maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever time they extend the post offices to be open, to get that tax in. If you don't want Uncle Sam to come knocking on your door and saying, yo, give me that cash, man. And so go out and file your taxes, get that stuff in. And it's another day here at Tech Pulse. We're going to start off, with the top stories. This is the show where you get to hear all the tech news stories going on around the world, assimilate it, feel like you're a part of it. So let's just jump right in with the first story of the day. Now, first story, how many of you out there like to get worked over? A couple of 1-2 shots to the gut, saying a 5 across the eyes, another shot to the spleen. Well, if you are someone that likes to use Google services and so forth, according to Microsoft, you're getting scroogled. Yep. That's what Microsoft has said. If you're using Google, you are getting scroogled. That's a report coming out of the Microsoft camp. They said that, and this is nothing new because Microsoft had been doing this thing from, I think this is if we look at it, this is, I think, their third phase in a 5-month-old marketing campaign that Microsoft came up with, and they called it Scroogled. That's the name of their campaign, and they have ads that appear online, on television, and print, and it depicts Google as a kind of duplicitous company, more interested in increasing profits than protecting people's privacy. This particular time, Microsoft is talking about they're vilifying Google Inc. for sharing some personal information that it gathers about people who buy applications designed to run on smartphones and tablets. On tablet computers powered by Google's Android. Earlier ads that Google came out with in this Google campaign, they tore apart Google's long-running practices of electronically scanning the content of people's Gmail accounts to help sell ads. Other ads attacked a recently introduced policy that requires retailers to pay to appear in the shopping section of Google's dominant search engine. So these are some of the things that Microsoft, and as we know, last week we said that Microsoft led a campaign with Fair Search saying that Android is just a tyrant of an operating system, a bully, and they wanted the EU, the European Commission, to really, hit Google with some sanctions. So for those of you that haven't seen the Microsoft Google is Scroogled campaign, we got a couple of commercials here that you can watch to see, so you get up to speed as to what Microsoft has been doing over these past few months, because this is a 5-month long, that they said they're running a 5-month long campaign, showing people how bad Google is and how you need to really just basically, they're not saying Google is bad, look Microsoft's way. But when you're having this kind of campaign, what else could you be saying? It's like, well, Google is bad, but hey, we're the good guys here. We're the good guys, So let me show you guys just a few clips, of the commercial. Here we see right here, Microsoft's latest Google ad attacks search sharing of information that Google developers need to process transactions. So let's go down here to one of their first commercials here. and let's listen in on what they're saying.
Is passed off from Google to the app maker. Most app makers are trustworthy. However, in the wrong hands, who knows what they'll do with your info? App makers are spread out all over the world, and these companies find out what apps you buy, even health-related ones. Google does not clearly warn you that this transfer of personal info occurs every time you buy an app. It's not stated in the checkout process, on the receipt, or in your account history. Privacy groups, app makers, and even Congress have raised concerns about how consumers are getting scroogled. Unlike Google, Windows Phone Store doesn't share your personal information with app makers. Don't get scroogled.
Okay, so here we have one ad that's telling you right there, don't get scroogled. All right, let's listen in on the other one. Let's listen in on the other one and get another
Did
tape.
you notice these Android app charges?
Yeah, I tried the Google App Store on that tablet my aunt gave us.
Jeff, when you buy an app from Google, they send your name, email, even our neighborhood to the Android app maker without clear warning.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for the $1.99.
Don't all top app stores do that?
Nope, the Google App Store does.
Jeff. How's the calorie counter app working?
They know a lot about you.
Celebrity gossip hound.
Really?
Don't get scroogled. If you can't trust their app store, maybe you shouldn't trust Google for anything. Try Bing.
Okay, so they're talking about sharing information, as you see, and they're saying that, if you can't trust the App Store, hey, what can you trust with Google? And to me, this is really just another in a long line of Microsoft really just trying to gain some market share. They're saying clearly in those commercials that, Google shares your personal information, with other app makers and so forth. And they're saying that that this can be potentially dangerous, and they know everything about you and whatnot. And Greg Sullivan, a Microsoft senior management for Windows Phone, he said, we think we have a better alternative that doesn't do these kinds of nefarious things. So they're really going out on a limb to really say that Google is really, the enemy. Another person following Jonathan Weber, who's been following the Microsoft's Google ads and stuff like that, he said it's always the underdog that does negative advertising like this, and there is no doubt that Microsoft is now the underdog. You see, Microsoft is a big company. They're not used to being underdogs to anybody, and they're coming up with all of this, Google is taking your information and sharing it and doing all this type of stuff, but we have to understand that, anytime you're dealing with this sort of thing, you're gonna have these sorts of attacks coming on, and Microsoft is really, to me, Microsoft is really, you're playing lowball now when you're gonna resort to stuff like this rather than just letting your product speak for itself. If your product is better, then advertise it to show the benefits of it. Don't go through all of this ad campaign, trying to discredit Google for this or that. One of the things we have to understand, and they also talked about Google Wallet, and the main difference between Google Play and, let's say, like the Apple App Store, is that Google uses its wallet service to process transaction. While it's not a third-party service in the sense that it's a different company, it is a function of the process that is not embedded into Google Play. It's something that users are made aware of, though, in the terms of service and privacy policies when they sign up. You see what I'm saying? So when merchants and developers sign up to sell things in Google Play, they have to buy into the not sharing of any information that they get, which is name, email, address, and general location. The things that all companies, that all companies selling things online need in order to process your transaction or provide support. Better start your attack against Amazon, against eBay, against all these other internet giants, if you want to say, well, hey, companies that get your name, email, Google gets your name, email, and general location, they're going to share it. But the truth is that the people that sign in to sell stuff at Google Play Store, like I just told you, they have to sign into the no share policy, and that's in the terms of service. So, I mean, they can't go ahead and share. They're not supposed to anyway, otherwise they can be sued by Google. So Microsoft is saying what could happen. Yes, anything could happen. Just like if you lend someone $50, they could use it to buy a handgun and kill somebody. Or they could use it to buy drugs. That doesn't mean that's what they're doing, just because the possibility exists. Microsoft has a contract with the people who, when I say a contract, I mean anyone who wants to sell in the Google Play Store has to sign into, in their terms of service, that they're not going to share any personal information that they get. And I mean, if that's the case, then to say that they could share your information just because you're trying to gain market share, I don't know. Microsoft is really, to me, they're really trying to, they're going out on a limb, if you will. They're going out on a limb. And if anyone remembers, you can't, always, believe everything that you hear and everything that you see, because a lot of these companies, especially like Microsoft now, they're really battling for market share. They're really battling for market share, and especially as far as search engine goes, as far as the phones and whatnot. I mean, Microsoft Windows Phone, let's face it, is not really doing very well. I mean, they not really have a lot of the market share. Android is a huge part of the market share. And so we expect that, Microsoft is going to come up with these assertions, and they're going to do things. But, I mean, to really, try and attack Google like that, and they have a 5-month campaign that they're coming out, and you're going to see these ads, more of these ads come out in print, more of these ads come out on the internet and stuff like that. And to me, that's just, it really shows how low, Microsoft really is going, if that's their tactic to gain more market share. I mean, this stuff is just, it's not new, but you expected more in politics. I mean, than what you're going to see here in in the tech world. You expect more of that to happen in the political world. I mean, come on. This is business. I get that. But at the same time, to me, you don't bolster your brand by doing stuff like that. I mean, Devin, you heard some of the commercial. I mean, what do you think? What do you think Microsoft is thinking? Coming out, and this is a 5-month long campaign. They're in phase 3, according to them, of this 5-month campaign, where they have labeled it Scroogled. That's the name of the campaign that they're trying to show you all the ways. And they're saying that, as you heard already, that Google could share you. They didn't say they did. They say they could share you into anything is possible. But like I was saying earlier, anyone that sells anything in the Google Play Store, Google makes it a policy that they have to sign into, like they sign an agreement, like most companies like Amazon, eBay, all the big companies that say you're not going to share any of the customers' information or any information like that. They sign into that. So if Google finds that people are doing it, they legally have the right to sue them and so forth. So to say something could happen, sure. The people could still go out and do it. You're not physically stopping. They could do it. But to make an ad campaign around that, to say, hey, Google is untrustworthy. I mean, what do you think about that as far as Microsoft is concerned? Is this something that, is it beneath Microsoft to do this? Is it one of those things where they're just desperate now and they're just coming out swinging, all guns a-blazing?
Yes.
And that is the expert, very detailed analysis by one Devin Hines.
No, I've always had a problem with people in general who think they need to undermine someone else's reputation or someone else's character to enhance their own.
Right.
And I don't think it's any different for the business world.
Right.
Whenever you start having to tell me how bad the other person is, tells me that I need to not trust you.
Right. And that's really a key, you know, because if your only campaign is telling me that someone might do something wrong, hey, you better watch out. I mean, come on, anyone can do anything, you know, but we have to stick with the facts. And the facts is Google has people sign an agreement saying they're not going to share your public information. That's an agreement they sign when they agree to sell anything in the App Store. So that's all Google can do.
Let me ask you something. When you get a Microsoft product,
Right.
don't you have to fill out a registration information?
Yeah, online.
So they could sell that too.
They could be selling that right now. You see, because they have my information. When I got Xbox, in order to, as anyone out there knows, if you want to have Xbox Live service, you have to register. Matter of fact, whether you get Xbox Live or not, you have to register the machine that you just bought. And in that is your email address, your name, your address, all this type of stuff. So Microsoft could be doing that too. Matter of fact, when you buy anything in a brick and mortar store, I went to Radio Shack the other day, and these guys they was asking me for everything. You know, I was like, man, I just come to buy a part, you know, and these guys asked, so they could share your information too. The point is that this is common practice today. So to make a campaign around what someone could be doing, I mean, we all could be doing something. The question is, are you doing
thing, actually?
So
I'd be surprised if they don't get fired back at, you know.
If Google hasn't really responded to that yet, you know.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get into a war with that. They don't need to sell your product. Your product is good enough to stand on its own. You don't need to undermine the next guy's product unless
there's some truth. There's some truth to it, right?
Yeah.
And then you're not undermining it, you're just saying what the truth is,
right.
You see? And the funny thing about this story, why I started off with this story, is because this comes, I mean, as a, it's kind of funny because there has been a study done by a German research firm called AV Test PDF, and they found that Bing serves up 5 times as many malicious sites in its search results than Google. And they did this study over an 18-month period. And they said out of 10 million search results delivered by both sites, Google served up 272 potentially nasty sites, while Bing returned 1,285. And this is an independent company that just happened to do this search. And so we're seeing on one hand, Microsoft is saying, oh, Google this, Google that, and the next thing. But you have an independent company now, nothing to do with Google, but an independent company come out and said, as far as search engine goes, Microsoft is not as secure when providing you sites that don't have malicious intents. Their malicious intent reducer, or because the search engines have filters built in to try and keep out search results like that. But apparently, according to this independent company, Microsoft's Bing search engine doesn't do a very good job. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think this is a result of, Microsoft hearing this information saying, yo, man, I got to, we got to fire back with something?
I'm wondering if, like the campaigns, they're going to say, these are friends of yours. Those malicious sites are friends. You need to disavow them.
You need to disavow any knowledge.
You need to, you need to say that you don't have, any relationship with them. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
It's getting ridiculous, but it's one of those things now that, I mean, does it look funny in one sense where we have Bing being investigated by, or do you think, let me put it this way, do you think Microsoft is attracting this type of attention where, because they're talking about Google, you're going to have independent companies like this German independent company that say, you know what, let's see what Bing is doing. Then they find out that, oh man, Bing is serving up, and they, like I say, this is not something that they did, quickly, this was an 18-month step. So clearly, they were doing this before Microsoft came up with their Scroogled campaign, and They said over an 18-month period, they did 10 million search results, not one or a few 100,000. So this is a thorough result. You know, so do you think Microsoft is just asking for stuff like this to happen to them by their campaign?
On the other hand, too, I hope that's not the case.
Right.
You know, listen, we don't have to shoot at people to, you know, to undermine them or to bring them down or to prove how good our project is or our product. We just need to do what you do. Right. You know, and make your project clean, make it good, make your product good, and let people decide. Promote your product. Tell everybody what your product brings that's special, that's different. You know, and that's it.
And don't worry about it. And then
don't worry about it next
like what Google did. Like I said, Google hasn't really fired back, but when you're doing, and this is just a testament of what you just said, when do what you do and don't worry about anything else, because now you have an independent company that comes out. Google didn't even have to do anything. Independent company comes out and say, wait a minute now, Bing is serving up, you know, malicious sites in its search results. So when you click on those things, you don't know which one of those are going to be genuine and which one of those are going to be malicious. And Bing is serving up 5 times as much. You have independent people come out in favor of your product when they're not trying to say Google is better. They're just giving you facts. They're just giving you the facts of their results. So, yeah, I mean, to me, this is, you know, Microsoft's attack on Google to me is really unwarranted. And, you know, it really... although, I mean, nobody's perfect, you know, but at the same time, you know, I mean, just promote your brand. You know, I don't know what Microsoft is thinking doing this. This certainly can't help them, in my opinion, to get better market share or anything like that. It certainly can't be like, oh,
if I could, I would do a protest
against Microsoft. Because, you know, I mean...
But I can't. I have to use their product. I'd be like, don't use their product.
But they integrate and see, and that's what makes it so baffling, because Microsoft has so much going for it. You know, I mean, so what are you worried that you're not the biggest phone company out there, or you're not the biggest search engine out there, or you're not the biggest?
You can tell that Bill Gates is not running this thing
anymore. Yeah,
because I don't think that's something he would do.
No, that to me that doesn't that's not Bill Gates' style, you know. No. Bill Gates is someone who he does what he can and he just tries to perfect whatever product he has. That's his thing.
That's it.
His stuff is, let me perfect the products that I'm in control of. He doesn't go around trying to tell everybody how much better Microsoft is. He just promotes the products that it is. So yeah, you can tell Microsoft has stepped down from, and that's where you have these eternal wars between Apple and between Microsoft and whatnot, Windows and Mac, you know, and the two founders, the two brains behind the operations are no longer, well, Steve Jobs obviously has passed, but Bill Gates is not running Microsoft anymore. He stepped down as CEO. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future coming months as far as, you know, this situation goes, because I mean it's really crazy, you know, how these, at least Microsoft is taking this whole war between the two. And speaking of wars, you know, we have a war going on. Well, it's been going on for a long time when it comes to TVs, as far as LED, LCD, plasma, and DLP. You know, now for those of you that don't know, I mean, you've heard a lot about those technologies, but you're like, oh man, what you know, what are these different things? Well, LED is light emitting diode. That's what it is, you know, and it uses LEDs to show an image on a screen. LCD, liquid crystal display. We all know that from the old Tiger handheld games, and you know, watches back in the day was LCD. So everybody knows, even if you didn't know, you knew about LCD, you know, because it was everywhere. You know, anything showing any kind of display back in the days that was digital, you know, was LCD. And then you have DLP, which is digital light processing, uses millions of tiny mirrors to reflect light in a way that will show images on the screen. No burn-in, no, it doesn't wear out. You know, that's a lasting technology. It's just not as streamlined as LED and LCD, and then you have plasma, which is superheated gas. Basically, they electrically charge the particles in the gas to ionize the gas, and that superheated gas now is able to change color, do different things like that. Now, some of the problems with plasma was you had burn-in. If you pause the image too long on the screen, because the gas was superheated, it would burn the image on the back of the screen. So when you turn the TV off, you'd see like a brown, outline of whatever was sitting there for a while. And if you do that too many times, then even when you're watching TV regularly, you have this ghost image in the background because you can still see the burn. Also, it was a cheaper technology. Plasma was always cheaper than LED, always cheaper than LCD, because it uses regular air, gas, as opposed to LEDs or LCD, which uses the fluorescent bulbs like you have in your house, but very thin. Matter of fact, LED is still LCD. It's not different. It just uses LEDs in the front of the screen, and the backlighting is still LCD. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear a TV is LED, it doesn't mean LCD is gone. LCD is still in there. It's just LED is on the front part of the screen, and then you have the backlighting is done by the LCD. Now, why is this a story? Well, it's a story because there was a report. Let's put it this way. There was a report that came out by the Verge and other internet sites. They said that Panasonic had produced its last plasma television. They were like, you know what? Plasma, just not cutting it no more. Forget about that. They are going to focus on OLED, organic LED, which uses organic material in the circuitry to produce super rich, super detailed images. And that's a matter of fact, 4K sets are going to be OLED. You know what I'm saying? So that's the next. But Panasonic, according to a report of Verge, they say they developed its last plasma panel. They just don't see a future. That's what the report said. They said Panasonic's latest television, the ZT60, is the best plasma the company ever made. And also be the last plasma the company will ever make. You see, because they are going to focus, according to the report, on OLED. Is one of the key future products Panasonic says they're going to focus on. So rumors that Panasonic would end plasma research and development first surfaced in I think it was December of last year. And in a report, they said that the company had closed down the R&D with plans to pull out of plasma altogether as early as 2014. So Panasonic's display vice president continued to confirm to The Verge at an event in New York that the development had ceased and that the ZT60 was going to be their last plasma screen. Now, I mean, that was something that we was like, man, because plasma is not really a popular technology. It's a cheaper technology, but most people don't really buy plasma because of the reasons I mentioned. And also, plasma has a very reflective screen. So if you're in a high light, if this is for your living room and you have lots of light coming in, you got to be careful how you angle it because it's going to reflect everything. You know what I'm saying? So the sun is going to reflect off it. You're not going to see the picture. It's going to be washed out. So in well-lit situations, even your lighting, you have to be careful where you put it because it will reflect the bulbs. Whereas LED doesn't reflect. LED has that matte type surface that doesn't reflect anything. So even in bright sunlight, you could still see it. And the reason why that was a story, you're saying, well, okay, so they're going to quit. But they came out, I think, late last week, and they denied everything. They said, no, what are you talking about? We're creating plasma. So when you hear a story like that, Devin, do you think they're afraid of the existing, and that's a picture of the ZT60 right there, their last plasma, and you can see how reflective that bad boy is without even trying. It's reflecting a light right there. You see what I'm saying? And that's part of the problem with plasma. It has a higher refresh rate at 600 hertz. Most LEDs at most you get 240. I have heard of a 580 refresh rate in LED, but that's rare. If you have one of those sets, Guaranteed, not many people have them. The most you're going to see in the consumer market is 240. You see, so they have higher refresh rates for people who play games, for people who like to play sports, not play sports, but watch sports and stuff like that. It keeps up with the picture beautifully. It gives you much better color saturation, has much richer and deeper color. So you say, well, why is plasma not? Why did Betamax not work? You know what I'm saying? The point is people just not buying plasma. It's just, and it's a cheaper technology. For a similar size plasma, you would spend, let's say for a 50-inch plasma, and you spend, let's say it costs $1,000. For that same size in a LED, it's going to be $1,800 or even $2,000. You know what I'm saying? That's the price differential between plasma and between how it used to be. So plasma is a cheaper technology. So you would say, yeah, man, people should buy it up. But for whatever reason, I guess those reasons that I mentioned just wasn't enough for plasma to take off.
I mean, because I used to hear also that they had a shorter
lifespan. Yeah, lifespan was a little in the beginning. Mm-hmm. They improved that to where you can get comparable hours with LED and plasma in today's plasma.
Because I know, and maybe that's part of the problem, is that when people looked at the history in terms of life, lifespan,
right,
and because people wouldn't buy a VW.
Right.
For the longest while because of certain historic or Audi,
right?
Because they had issues with maintenance issues,
right.
But that was mainly in the past when they, the Audi 100 or stuff like that. There were big problems, but because of their history, people just couldn't get past it for the longest time. So maybe that's part of the problem with
plasma. But when this report just come out late last week, and they jump on and they say, no, we're gonna go. What are you talking about? Matter of fact, they said the statement coming out of Panasonic said reports that Panasonic will no longer develop and manufacture plasma HD TVs are not correct. They said this week, and this is after the guy confirmed to The Verge at a New York event that yes, they had seen a Panasonic official told the Verge, which is a well-respected online magazine publication, yes, we have seen. So now they busted out and they said that the reports that Panasonic will no longer, they're not correct. They said this week in New York City, Panasonic demonstrated the latest development of our gateless plasma TV technology in our 2013 Smart Viera ZT Series Plasma HD TV. The technology incorporated into our ZT Series Studio Master Panel will be the basis for continued plasma display panel development and production. You think this is something that Panasonic, they admitted it and then they realized, oh, there's people out there that have plasmas. We shouldn't have said that. Do you think it's something like that?
Yeah, I think it's more not production, but sales that they're worried about.
Right.
Because if you come out now, there's still plasmas on the shelf in stores.
Right.
Across, wherever.
Right. Best Buy,
Yeah, wherever. And if I come out saying I'm not going to be making this product anymore, usually when they discontinue a series, that's something that trickles down maybe a year later.
Right.
You hear that series is discontinued because it could affect sales.
Right.
So that's a major blunder.
And especially if you're coming out with your last, quote unquote, your last plasma panel, and you're saying this is the last plasma panel. No one's gonna buy that because they're gonna say, well, you're not gonna support this anymore.
Right.
So I think they are.
That's a major blunder.
Yeah, that was a blunder. I think they're going to discontinue plasma. I just think that when they realize they said that and they say, oh, wait a minute, we're coming out with this new one. You can see it right there. I mean, it looks good. The TV looks good. But why would I go out and invest in a technology that one of the only companies continuing to make it? Because LG used to make plasma sets. I have an LG plasma back at the house, but LG they're not doing plasma. You know what I'm saying? They don't really make. If they do, it's very rare. Plasma is a technology that's considered old. It's considered an older technology. It's considered like CRT is in the flat panel world. So, for Panasonic, one of the last real plasma TV makers to come out and say that and then quickly retract it right as they're releasing a new plasma TV and they say this is going to be their last, and they say, nah, this is going to be the basis. If I were you out there, stay away from plasma.
I think they drove past their driveway. They drove past the driveway.
And realized that as they drove, wait a minute.
Slammed on the brakes. That's what it is.
That's what it is. So if I were you and you're looking for a new HD set, LED, not even LCD. I mean, even that's getting hard to find. LCD, which, like I said, LED is still LCD, but the front lighting, you know what I'm saying, is made of the little LEDs, which is easier to control. You get better blacker blacks because, and with the OLED, incidentally, OLED technology can control the individual LEDs, no longer groups of LEDs, the individual. So that one pixel that's on your screen, that one LED, with OLED technology, that one can go out. And go out, not turn off. You see, the problem with a lot of LEDs was that these OLEDs now are being backlit with LEDs as well. So these OLED ones are truly LED televisions. The problem with the earlier LEDs was that it was still backlit by LCD. So when you turn off the LED, you want to get a black picture, you turn off the LED. Yeah. The TV is still backlit. So you still get that gray. It's only, you can only get so dark if you still have a light shining behind you. But with the OLED, and you're able to turn it off totally, turn the backlight, everything, you get real black because there's nothing on, as opposed to having a backlight behind the screen and it still glows just a little bit. So these sets that they showed at CES, I mean, they look crisp. I'm telling you, they look clean. Their video is just, you wouldn't really appreciate it online, watching through your computer and stuff like that, because maybe the screen you have is not 1080p, you know, maybe the refresh rate isn't so good. But if you saw it on TV, on a 1080, get your set at 1080p and look at it through high definition. Look at it on playing on TV.
Look at what?
The image that OLED they displayed at. And the thing is, you still can't get the full appreciation for it because your screen is only 1080p. But it looks, when you play it in high definition, it looks good now. So I can only imagine how good it must look in person. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it was funny. My big screen TV, I never put HDMI on it.
Oh, you never have HDMI on it?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I just always used composite.
Right, right.
It was good enough for me. I didn't really, and then I plugged in the HDMI.
And you were like, oh yeah. This is
difference.
This is what I've been waiting for.
And just no reason to. And that's why when they talk about all these super HD and stuff like that, I go,
super HD.
For what?
Ultra.
I have no clue. Yeah, ultra.
Ultra. High definition. You have no reason for it. I hate it. Because what you have, you're saying, is good enough.
I mean, I went from composite to HDMI. And I'm like, that's great.
Right.
I don't need anything else. I mean,
and until you go into the store and see that 4K set, then you'll be like,
home.
Oh.
And I'll be all right.
So since we've talked about a couple of stories, we're going to take a little break. And we're going to continue to talk about one of the people that we have saw last week when we were at the Broward County convention. The what's it called again, Devin? The
Broward County Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, yeah. Broward
Expo.
County Chamber of Commerce convention. They, a number of businesses were there, and we just want to recognize a few of the businesses that made an impact as far as we were concerned. Not that the other ones did make an impact, but just, I mean, from what we saw, these are ones that are good for, people to check out and for people to, take notice of. And one of them is the Florida, and if you're in Florida, the Florida Minority Business Development. Now, the Florida Minority Business Development, I mean, anyone, obviously, if you're a minority business starting up and you're someone who you're looking for funding, you're looking for different things, this is something that you should really check into. They say that Here's some of the things they do. They'll register your business with government agencies. They'll upgrade your certification, CBE, DBE, SBD, and Section 3. They can make your dreams of starting your own business come true. You know, that's what you always wanted to do it. They help you file for liens. They'll write or review your contract before you sign it. So, you know, any kind of contractual things that you have going on, they will review it for you. They say that they give you full legal support. They'll lease your employee with full worker compensation. Matching sub with prime, accounting, access capital, estimating, different things like that, bonding and insurance. They do it all at Florida Minority Business Development. And you know how hard it can be to start a business, just period. Much less, you know, if you're a minority, you know, sometimes you don't know where to turn to get the help you need. And Florida Minority Business Development, they can give you everything you need. Just go to their website, as you see right here. It's www.g, as in George, mrbd.org. That's www.gmrbd.org. You know, and that's just one of the businesses we want to highlight in our travels as we went to the Broward Convention Center. Also, one of the things we wanted to say, you know, as a broadcast network here, and that is we advocate healthy eating. You know, Devin and I were just at at our church this past weekend. They had an impromptu health day. Well, it was impromptu to me, I guess. Maybe it was known. And they were talking about how, you know, we all need to just eat healthy and avoid certain things. Get as fresh as you can. Now, sometimes that can be difficult for even the person with the most money. Maybe it's time you're looking for, or someone who doesn't have a lot of budget. Well, your problems are solved with Ultimate Organics. Oh yeah, you want some good, high quality. If you're someone that's too busy to go to Whole Foods, to go, you know what I'm saying, in the Target section and search through, do it online. You know, ultimateorganics.net has what you need with over 11,000 products. Whether it be, I mean, we're breathing in so many things, so many chemicals, from our cars to, you know, that new car smell that we all love. That's chemicals you're breathing in, you know. But here at Ultimate Organics, we have air fresheners. You know, they have all kind of cleaning products that made from natural plant extracts like orange oils and different seed extracts, to where when you breathe it in, you're breathing in natural things that come from the earth. You know, it's safe around children. A lot of these cleaning supplies, you got to tell your children, look, man, exit the room, not because I'm about to drop an F-bomb, but because the chemicals in the room could actually, you know, could do something to you. With the natural ingredients at Ultimate Organics, your child can go like this, and just enjoy the natural scents that nature has to offer. Baby foods, snacks, health foods, condiments, they got it all at ultimateorganics.net. Healthy living today, and we want to thank them for their support of Tech Pulse. All right, now we're back into the news. We're back, and one of the things that we've been talking about a lot of times, remember last week we had a story with Apple and what was it? It was Apple and Yahoo that teamed up to, you know, they teamed up to, we're talking about if they could get Siri and all this type of stuff, and they, you know, Apple has its iStore, and Apple also is trying to team up with Sony and all the big music makers for their iRadio to try and draw people away from Pandora. And, you know, a lot of people are saying around the web that, you know, Pandora's days are numbered. You know, and even we here at TechPulse said that, you know, we wouldn't be surprised if the next thing you heard was that Apple somehow absorbed Pandora into its, you know, collective, just like the Borg. For those of you that watch Star Trek, you know, you just get assimilated into the collective. You know, You know, we wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. But guess what? As we're thinking that, report just came out by VentureBeat. They said that Pandora has doubled its U.S. member base in 2 years. Pandora has hit 200 million registered users. 200 million. They said the streaming radio service Pandora crossed the 200 million registered users mark, a major milestone for a company coming just a month after their CEO, Joe Kennedy, resigned. The guy was like, you know what, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? And many people thought Pandora was just going to start, you know, because they don't have that leadership, they're going to start flailing. The people just, they busted up another, you know what I'm saying, another milestone at 200 million. They said Pandora's impressive reach stems from the service being available since the summer of 2005, as many of you know. Since that time, it brought Pandora apps to nearly every mobile platform in existence, you know? So, and Devin is saying right now that that's amazing. You know, I mean, to be able to go from 2005 is when they started. It's 2013, not even 10 years later. They have 200 million registered users, and Pulse E-Media is going to be on its heels. And they said that the latest big platform added to Pandora's stable was Windows 8, Phone 8. That was one of the big, they said, interesting enough, any person that uses Pandora's on Windows 8 app doesn't have to hear advertisements through the end of 2013. The streaming radio service hit 100 million users back in July of 2011. Now think about it. From 2005 to July 2011, they had 100 million registered users. From 2011 to 2013, they doubled their user base to 200 million. They hit 150 million registered users in May of 2012. And one of the spokespersons, one of the spokesperson and founders actually, Tim Westergren, said in a statement, he said, we started this company to help people discover and enjoy music they love, and to help artists reach and grow their audiences. Only in our wildest dreams did we ever imagine what it could become. It is now clear that radio is changing, and that's great news for music fans and for tens of thousands of working artists who now have a home on the air. I mean, and I just think that with all the rumors that's been swirling around, and we're still going to get to another story here in a bit about, you know, some more rumors of Pandora killers. But the point is, for all the rumors that's been going around about Pandora, about how, you know, they're dead, Apple is going to take over, you know what I'm saying, everything. You know what I'm saying? Apple is just going to cut into their sales, and, you know, all this type of stuff. For having all those rumors thrown at them, and for Pandora to be able to bounce back, you know, and when I say bounce back, I mean they're able to double their user base after their CEO, you know, retired, or I don't want to say retired, but he resigned is really what the word is. After their CEO resigned, and, you know, for other pursuits, and for them to be able to come back and you know, just hit that 200 million user mark. I mean, for all of you Pandora fans out there, because I like Pandora, I have Pandora, and yeah, it's a good service. Being able to set up radio channels just the way you want with the type of music you listen to, because I may like an artist, and I think that was so revolutionary. That was so cool of Pandora to come up with the ability to link artists together. In other words, if I like Britney Spears, for example, right, I can not just get all of Britney Spears' albums, but I can get music that sounds like Britney Spears. So, because there's time when I like that type of music, you know, and I want to listen to that type, but you don't want to listen to the same track over and over and over. If you like Pink, or you like various gospel groups, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, and you like their style, you know, but you don't just want to listen to them, Pandora gives you that option of being able to listen to the same style but from different artists. And I don't have to search through millions of artists and say, man, let me see, I can't, this one just don't sound like it and all that. No, you know what I'm saying? Pandora gives you that ability to be able to find similar artists doing similar things, and I think that is really where the beauty of Pandora lies. So, to see this story come out and to see that Pandora has that kind of milestone under its belt, to me, says a lot about the company and says a lot about where Pandora really is going to be in, say, 5 years, in 10 years. And I think that this is something that Pandora is going to be able to build on. If they're smart, they're going to be able to build on this, and they're going to be able to, this is going to be something they're going to be able to grow with. And according to a report by CNET, they say the music streaming service not only is going strong with hundreds of millions of users listening, hundreds of millions of users, but the users are listening to nearly 1.5 billion hours of music per month. Collectively, 1.5 billion hours of music per month. I mean, Devin, as an entrepreneur yourself and founder of Pulse E-Media, someone who recognizes and appreciates the small business making it big, because you in big business, you at one of one of the top levels of a big bank in New York. So you know what it is to be big business, and you know what it is to be a small business trying to grow up. What's your thoughts on this Pandora, who started in 2005, relatively unknown? Relatively unknown. It's only through the last few years they really took foothold. And it took them, It took them 7 years to get 100 million users, and 2 to get another 100 million. I mean, what do you say about a company like that?
Here we come. That's what I'm talking about. No, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
And even though we approach it from a totally different, not totally, from a different perspective, this is a kind of business. I mean, the music business is a huge business, and no matter what you do, no matter how you slice it, it's just huge. People listen to music is an important part of what they do on a regular basis. They go into their cars, they're always listening to music. And the interesting thing about it is that the typical listener now isn't, people still listen to music on their car stereo, and a lot of them carry it with them. They actually carry their music into the car, and they plug in and they listen to what they want. And so that's so important from the basis of what Pandora is doing, is that they're giving you what you want to hear.
Exactly.
And we're approaching it from a little bit different. The Music Link is approaching it from the idea of connecting you with grassroots artists, people who are not necessarily big time yet. We're not out there yet. We're saying there are others out there who are giving you great music, but haven't made it big to be in the Pandora mix yet. And those are the ones we are focusing on. We're focusing on the grassroots one, the ones who are just making it, who are trying to make it, and who are going to make it. So we have that same model, and Pandora, really, the thing about it is that it's not that Pandora had been competition free. I mean, in the 8 years that Pandora operated, from 2005 to 13, is that Pandora has come across increased competition from other music streaming services like Spotify, Spotify and RDO. These are other music services that's come up, and they just haven't been able, Pandora has been able to weather that storm. And now the latest is Apple's iRadio trying to take some of those licenses from, matter of fact, the 3 major, Warner Brothers, Sony, and Universal, trying to woo them away from Pandora to really sign up with its iRadio. I mean, with the announcement of this 200 million, do you think that Apple can really dent that? I mean, or is Pandora, they just have a strong wave of loyal customers? Because it's not just having a fad, part of it is the application itself, how they do business. But I mean, I'm sure Apple is using some kind of a model similar to that.
Right.
So it's interesting to see going forward what's going to happen to Pandora, because Apple is very strong.
Right.
And however, they only have 21 or 20% of the market. You know, so
right.
I don't know if these big music moguls want to take that chance going with an Apple, where you're talking about 80% of the market doesn't use Apple and Pandora.
Right.
Do you know and
iRadio.
iRadio.
Right.
You know, so I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I mean, but they're thinking if they can woo those major labels, Pandora won't have anything really to. But now the labels, according to the report, the Apple iRadio, they're going to be selling for about half what Pandora pays those companies, but they're including royalties. They're including things that could look monetarily attractive. So do you think companies, you know, as a businessman yourself, would you be swayed with making more money, making less money upfront, but the possibility of making more, or you have a sure 200 million users that Pandora has locked, and you're going to get that sure money? What do you think you would do in such a
200 million.
200
million. I'm done. Here's a problem that Apple Radio has, or iRadio has, is that the number of users gonna go down.
Right.
Absolutely go down compared with the 200 million, because what is 21% of the market compared to in terms of numbers?
Right.
What is that? How many users are there?
Oh, you mean out of the 200 million?
No. What number of users use iRadio or
versus use? I don't know those numbers.
That would be interesting.
But that would be interesting to find out.
Because if they're gonna 21% of the market, because most of the people who use use Spotify or are phone
audio,
users. Are phone users.
Right.
So for me that's a huge risk to go with 21% versus the rest. Even if 200 million is not the 80%.
Right.
It's gotta be.
But it's still a lot of users.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm risking Apple, who is now in a corner in terms of isolated, in terms of, don't share stuff.
Right.
I'm not going.
You're in a vacuum.
I'm not going there. No way. I'm not going there. No. That's an easy NO. Board meeting adjourned.
Board meeting adjourned. Let's move on.
Move on to the next topic, because I'm not going there.
And that would be interesting to see in the next few. I really think that Pandora has momentum. I really don't see Apple being able to dent that momentum. Not right now. Unless Pandora does something to really mess up their service and turn people off. I just don't see.
See that happen.
I don't see that happen. I don't see Apple being able to woo away the big companies who, they want to make money. And if you offer me a higher, if someone is going to offer me more money up front, rather than someone who says, okay, I'll give you half of that money up front, but you have the chance to make more. But I may not make more. You know what I'm saying? With this, I'm getting a guaranteed X amount. So if you give me a guaranteed $100 per user, and Apple says, I'm going to give you $50 per user, but with the royalties, you have the chance to make $200. Yeah, you always have a chance. The point is, I may not make that. I prefer to have the sure.
Money in the bank.
There you go. Money in the bank. And I think this is where Pandora is really going to be strong. Plus, with that 200 million user base, you can't go wrong with that. In our next story, Intel announces the next generation Thunderbolt with 20 gigabyte per second throughput. And also, they say it's going to have 4K support. So we're talking about 4K coming up and all this. Intel is getting ready. Intel introduced the next generation Thunderbolt interface, which promises data rates according to a report of 20 gigabytes per second. Per second. And guess what, Devin? This is something you and I both like. They said in both directions. You know, not just upload.
Bi-directional.
Bi-directional 20 gigabits per second speed. You see? And they say on each of the 2 channels that they're going to have embedded in their Thunderbolt, as opposed to the 10 gigabits per second that they have in their previous Thunderbolt version. They say, of course, the company stepped back for a moment, first boasting that Thunderbolt currently has about 200 licensees and more compatible devices, along with the new thinner cables that they're coming out, should be coming out in the coming months. They said all of this building up to the big reveal that Intel also shared some info about its new Thunderbolt host controller, code named Redwood Ridge. I don't know where these people come up with these names. You know,
Redwood
but that's... and they say they're gonna...
I was excited and then I got turned off.
Redwood Ridge. That's what they're code naming it. Yeah. They say they're gonna build this thing into their 4th generation core processors. This stuff is going to be built into the next processors, codename Haswell, that they're coming up with. You know, so this is something. Except there are people out there saying, "Who cares?" You know, I mean, what does that get? But I mean, faster computing. You know what I'm saying? Better graphics, better sound, better everything when you're able to go bi-directional. You know, because a lot of things give you. It's just like, okay, let's use it in something people know. When you're doing internet. Right, and you have upload speeds of one number and then download speeds of another. You know what I'm saying? So your upload speeds may be slower than your download speeds, depending on what you're doing. Like your cable company might give you upload speeds slower than the downloads because you're not doing a lot of downloading to a cable company. You know what I'm saying? But with this, they're saying that it's going to be both ways, and that it will also be backwards compatible with previous generations of Thunderbolt cables and connectors. You know, because right now laptops are coming out with Thunderbolt. You know, you had USB 2.0, you had USB 3.0, and now you have Thunderbolt. You see what I'm saying? And now this is their next generation Thunderbolt, and it's going to be 4K compatible. They say that it enables. They say the next gen Thunderbolt tech code name. I think it was Falcon Ridge. You know, they said it was going to, you know, because they have Redwood Ridge, and this one, the other one is called, the controller, the host controller is called Redwood Ridge. And the next gen Thunderbolt tech, the connection is codenamed Falcon Ridge. They said that enables 4K video file transfer and display simultaneously, in addition to running at 20 gigabits per second. They said it will be backwards compatible with previous cables and connectors, and production is set to ramp up in 2014. They're just giving you, and at an on-stage demo with fresh off the press, Silicon Valley showed the new Thunderbolt running at 1200 megabits per second. 1200 megabits per second, which is certainly a step up from what they currently have on the market right now. So I'm telling you, it's not out yet, but they're announcing that these things are coming up. So look for it in the coming months. And a matter of fact, we have a little video here that we're going to show for those of you that's like, man, I missed that. You know, I missed that announcement. What is it about Thunderbolt? Well, right here on Tech Pulse, you see, because we believe in giving the people what they want. People want to see what it is they're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and let's just run this video real quick, a little snippet of what they were talking about in the Thunderbolt world.
So what we have, if I can walk through here, is we have a desktop PC here with a Falcon Ridge card in it on the host side. That's daisy chained, connected to 2 boxes here. That is a device, so it's a device box, and it's each and then they're daisy chained together. Each box has an SSD in it. So these are enterprise SSDs that run a gigabyte per second. We really need to aggregate 2 of them together to show the performance that we're going to show. And then this is daisy chained out of that box up to this monitor, which is daisy chained to that monitor. So we have 2 QHD 2560 by 1440 monitors. Showing the display there. So I don't know if you can see the meter there. This is an IO meter showing the performance benchmark just against these SSDs. And you can see it's running about over 1200 megabytes per second. So the fastest demonstration of storage, if you've been playing with today's Thunderbolt storage devices, this is faster than anything in the market. And like I say, this is early prototype silicon, hot off the press, and we're already getting 1260 megabytes per second. So very exciting here.
Very exciting stuff, hot off the press. So as you see, that was just a prototype. When I say prototype, I mean they have it produced. 2014 is when they're going to roll it out. But they're just showing you the capabilities. That's why they daisy chain so many machines together, because it's not in the computer yet. But the point is, this type of speed, when you're talking about download speed, being able to upload things into your computer, being able to connect different devices together. I mean, one of the things that we at Pulse Media, we have to have when it comes to connection is not only good connection, but speed in data transfer. When we're doing live streaming events, we don't want delays. We don't want, someone to have said hi, and then 2 minutes later, hi,
Yeah, and drop frames.
Exactly. I mean, that stuff will kill you. Stuff like this, I mean, if it's going to do what they say, because that's the thing with technology. It's one thing to announce and daisy chain a couple of computers together, and then, you show some results that's not in a practical world. And then when it comes to the practical world, you're not really living up. That's where the disappointment comes in. But if they can do what they said, what they were going to do right there, I'm telling you, man, this stuff is the stuff of legend, you see, in the computer world. You see, so for those of you that are like, man, I wish that I could get my hands on some of this technology. You're going to have to wait until 2014. And sure, it's going to be in most of the computers coming up in 2014, and especially with laptops and things like that. We're going to see...
just putting you on the spot a little bit. Is this transfer rate? What rate are they talking about?
They're talking about transfer rate between anything that's connected that has Thunderbolt on both ends. Like my laptop has Thunderbolt, and I'm connecting to a hard drive or something like that has Thunderbolt as well. Both ways. I can send data to it 20 bits per second, and it can send data to me at 20 megabits per second. Both ways, you see, and simultaneously. So as you're saving, you can send. Not you have to wait. Let me save first, then, because it's unidirectional or it's one at a time. They're building in these new Thunderbolt connectors with 2 channels in it. So one is for sending, one is for receiving, and it can go simultaneously both ways, connected.
And the Thunderbolt is USB.
Thunderbolt is the new USB, right? But they just call it Thunderbolt, right?
But your computer, like, part of the problem people have right now is that if you don't have what do you call it now? Built-in. If you don't have the 3.0 built-in,
right,
and your server can't handle it,
right,
you can't add 3.0.
No.
So the Thunderbolt is going to be an issue of building into new computers.
Right. Building that architecture.
You can't add it on.
You can't add it on. It has to be built in, but it's going to be backwards compatible, at least with the slower generation. So if you have a USB 3.0, and like I have a USB 3.0 on this laptop, and you have a Thunderbolt connection, I won't be able to do anything because my receiving is 3.0. You see what I'm saying? But if I have Thunderbolt on my laptop and you have 3.0, I will be able to still receive data from it because I have the higher end and you have the lower end. You see? So you can go from higher to lower. You can't go from lower to higher, but you can go.
Why did you make me have the lower end? I want the Thunderbolt. You can have a 3.0.
I would.
I don't know why I took the lower end in this equation.
So that's what's coming. And then last week when we talked about Google Fiber and all of these different things, I'm telling you, man, this is a good time to be a part of the technological world. This is a sweet time to be a part of the technological world because, things are really ramping up. Now, let's take another quick break and talk about one of our other the products, well, not products, but websites not websites, companies that we saw at the Broward Commerce Convention Commerce for Broward County. And one of the things, I don't see a website here, but they have a place called Unique Creations by Liz. They said promote your products and services at Expressions Caribbean American Exposition. Join us in celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. That's going to be Thursday, June 6th, 2013 from 5 to 9 p.m. And this looks like something that we at Pulse E-Media may be covering. You know, they say don't miss this opportunity to participate in this multicultural showcase of Caribbean, American, and international products and services. They have exhibitors and sponsors meet and greet at 4 p.m. Oh yes, they do have a website. It's called Unique Creations by Liz, and I'm gonna punch that up here so that we can actually see what's going on. Unique Creation by Liz.com. UniqueCreationsByLiz.com.
So she's sponsoring the event. Unique Creations by Liz is sponsoring the Expressions event
that they're having at June 6th.
Right, which is Caribbean American Exhibition and Trade Show, celebrating Caribbean American heritage on June 6, 2012. So that's not the site for unique for the Caribbean American trade show. Just the sponsor.
The sponsor, right, exactly. Just so if you want to check out anything else she might have going on or whatever, and you can reach Unique Creations by Liz. We reach her by calling 954-292-6848, or you can call 954-435-4717. That's 954-435-4717. And you can tell her that you heard about her company and the expo that she is sponsoring right here at Tech Pulse. And just to give you some of the things, they're saying that they're going to have island band, reggae, soca, R&B, oldies, you know, Hal Anthony, international reggae artist and entertainment, Randy Corathan, great, he's a saxophonist, Sons of Maestro, fantastic violin duo, and much more. They're going to have, and it's going to be, you can enter to win a weekend getaway at the Renaissance Hotel, several dinners for two, baskets with Caribbean products, gift certificates. I mean, it's gonna be a whole, you know, party atmosphere down there as you're getting to learn about Caribbean culture along with American culture and other international cultures. So go ahead and visit the website Unique Creations by Liz. Liz is LIZ.com, and find out, see what else she has to offer. This is looks like it's going to be a fun evening that, hey, maybe you'll see us there. Pulse E-Media, you never know, you know. And give her a call at 954-292-6848. And we would like to thank them for their services that they're providing to the community here on Tech Pulse. All right, now once again we are back in the studio, and we're talking stories here in the tech world. And you're saying, man, what other, you know, what other stories can we talk about? Well, we're going to talk about Twitter. Right now, many of you know Twitter. You know Twitter as a what would we call it? Like a micro blogging site, kind of. You know, I mean, you know, you obviously Twitter only allows 140 characters per tweet and stuff like that. So it's not like you can get crazy. You have to send multiple tweets. But Twitter announced on Friday that they were going to launch a music app. Twitter is launching a music app, and they did it right on the edge of the Coachella music festival that was happening. According to All Things D, that's another online magazine publication, they said they confirmed that earlier today, music discovery service We Are Hunted, that's the name of the service, the music delivery service We Are Hunted, confirmed that they had been acquired by Twitter. You know, they had been acquired by Twitter. So many of you might say, well, okay, what does this mean? You know, now let me just give you a little insight on We Are Hunted for those of you that they know. We Are Hunted is a San Francisco-based software company that developed proprietary search technology which continuously scanned the internet to identify the hottest new music in the world. That's what they did. The company founder was Stephen Phillips and Richard Slater and Michael Doherty. So you have this service that searches the internet for the hottest new music, talent and songs and stuff like that in the world. They were originally owned and operated by Hunted Media, a web service company based in San Francisco. In late 2012, Twitter acquired the company, announcing plans to turn the platform into a new product they would call Twitter Music. And now, Twitter is actually launching, well, they were going to launch this app on Friday. Then they came out and said, well, maybe they'll do it over the weekend, you know. So, you know, in response to the Coachella festival that they were having, and they said that the acquisition of We Are Hunted and upcoming music app are the latest signs, along with Vine and its own photo filters, that Twitter is building itself out as an all-inclusive media platform. And a launch this weekend would coincide with the massive Coachella Music Festival, because that's what they were trying to wait for. They were waiting for that festival. That they were going to do it Friday, and the Coachella Music Festival was was this weekend that just passed. So they were waiting to see, maybe they would launch it then. The festival outside of Los Angeles, California, the festival normally carries heavy sponsorship, and in the past, Facebook has shown off check-in kiosks, and other technology companies have attended product launches there. So Twitter wanted to be also launch at the same time, and Josh Constantine, he said that Twitter's launching a music app at the Coachella Festival would be kind of risky, because the festival is chaotic. There's a lot of people going in and out there. You know, there's poor mobile signal. People try to conserve their battery life because they're going to be there for a while, and there's tons of distraction amongst the 7 stages, wild crowds that can be up to 75,000 people. It may be difficult to find time to download and use the music delivery app. So they're saying that it was risky for Twitter to really launch at this event. But Devin, do you think Twitter needs to be this all-around service where they're going to be offering music and all this different type of stuff, or should Twitter really just stick with what it knows best, which is you know, I mean, being a, and I call it microblogging only because you know, you can only send that small amount of tweetages. Do you think that this is a good move by Twitter? I mean, move into the music world. I mean, we have Pandora, we have Apple now, you know, trying to come up with iRadio. You know, Apple always had iTunes, but they're trying to build up around iRadio. You know, you have Spotify, you have Rdio. I mean, is there room for Twitter Music? I mean, is this something that will make Twitter users happier because they're already on Twitter and they can, I mean, what do you think? You think this is a good move? Or this is just a Me Too situation? Well, Spotify has, hey, Me Too.
Me Too. That's what it is. Yeah, that's really what it is. And
so you don't see any real practical reason why Twitter should have a music
it's
app?
just market share. That's all. It's just about market share and trying to, you know, get a bigger piece and
right, or get into,
not get lost,
right,
or get left behind. You
right.
know?
in the shuffle.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about.
Yeah,
not missing out.
Right. That was what I was going to say. I don't think if you decided not to be a part of this, as a matter of fact, we don't know if they were going to launch it on Friday, and then they waited and said, well, we'll launch it, maybe over the weekend with the music festival, and I don't know if that would be a good idea for Twitter. I don't even know if that's something that's going to really going to help them, what I'm saying, in the long run, because, people know Twitter as a blogging site. I don't know if people are going to give up their Pandora accounts or switch over all of their music listening needs to a Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And, I don't know, and Ryan Seacrest, the guy for, you watch American Idol, Ryan Seacrest, he came out and he was saying that, this thing is big time, because he has, a large following. And that's why Ryan, he was tweeting about the app, I think on Sunday. And that's why sources say that you should expect to see dozens of other celebrities chatting it up over the next few days about this thing. I don't know if he has any deal with Twitter or whatnot, but he was tweeting that this thing is on the right track, and yeah, and this is something that I see Twitter. This is an app that you're gonna see come out now, but I think you give it, I would even say till the end of the summer, and I don't think you're gonna hear too much about it. You're not gonna hear any more about it. It's gonna come out. They're gonna say, oh yeah, Twitter Music. It's gonna be maybe a big hype for a little bit, and then after that, you're not gonna see any more about it. So it's just one of those, in my opinion, just like I said, it's one of those Me Too situations where everyone is trying to jump on a bandwagon and say, hey, you have this, guess what? Me too. I got it too. And speaking of Me Too's, last week, just so everybody knows, last week, Friday, T-Mobile launched its new prepaid plan where you can buy a phone, for example, the iPhone 5, 16 gigabyte, you put $99 down, and you would pay $20 a month, until the phone is paid off. Or you can just buy the phone outright for $569, and and then you just have your plan, whatever your prepaid plan was, $30 a month, $50 a month, and that's it. Otherwise, you would pay the $20 a month plus your service plan. Well, guess what? Verizon introduces its new $35 per month prepaid plan for basic phones. For those who, there's some people that, they don't care about smartphones. They just want a phone. Verizon say that T-Mobile is not really keen to that market. So we are coming out with their new $35 prepaid plan for basic phones. That's what they said. They said for some time now, Verizon and other carriers have been slow but surely shifted focus from the dumb phone handsets to this smartphone era, right? But there are some people that just don't want, they don't seem to care about smartphones. So they said, okay, we're going back to basics, announcing a novel prepaid plan for folks without a smartphone. So if there's people in your household, or maybe children who you feel they don't need smartphone, just need a phone, they say that this will go alongside the company's existing $50 all-you-can-have offering. With the basic plan, the Verizon is giving the would-be customers the $35 option, which serves, gives you 500 anytime minutes, no mobile to mobile, 500 anytime minutes, but no mobile to mobile, as well as unlimited mobile data and text messaging. Now, be careful with this mobile, they say unlimited mobile data, because whereas you can access, say, like Facebook, you can access Facebook, but you can't access other sites on the web. It doesn't give you web browsing. So you're not going to get where it's like full web browsing and you're like, oh man, I'm going to be able to browse the web, anything I want, unlimited. No. Unlimited mobile data, text messaging, stuff like that, which includes like Facebook, Twitter, but not necessarily you know, not necessarily mobile in terms of web surfing. And then the phones that they're using, I mean, you know, these phones are really the basic phones. So I mean, understand that you're gonna get 500 anytime minutes, but it's not mobile to mobile. So it's not gonna be, it's anytime minutes you're calling a landline, fine. Mobile to mobile, it's not covered in that plan. You know, $35, you know, not mobile to mobile. Most people are calling mobile phones, so I don't see why they wouldn't have a mobile to mobile in that plan. But you know, because most people, when you're calling, you're not calling a landline unless you're, you know, calling your work or something like that. But most of the calls people make are going to be from mobile to mobile. So, you know, to not include that in this plan, and it's $35, it leads me to say how much is going to be the overages. If I call mobile to mobile, what, you know, what's that going to do for my plan? You know, I mean, and the phones are just, I mean, they had like a flip phone included in that. That's like, what, from the 90s? I don't know when last I saw a flip phone, you know, but that's one of the phones that's included in this plan that they have. And I don't know, I mean, again, a Me Too situation where you see one company, T-Mobile, which has a good thing going, you know, with their prepaid plan. I mean, they give you top of the line smartphones. Matter of fact, any phone you want, you can get that T-Mobile offers. You can get it, you know what I'm saying, on this plan, and you just have to pay it off, you know, with a $20 plan, you know, with a $20 a month plan. But the 500 anytime minutes of talk, as well as unlimited text and internet, it's misleading because the internet part is not really full like web browser. If you break it down, you're talking about 25 cents a minute is what you're gonna pay with their new no contract phones. And then you want to know the phones that they're using. You have the LG Cosmos 2, the Samsung Gusto 2, the Samsung Intensity 3, and the LG Extrovert. All four phones are heavily discounted when purchased as a part of the plan. However, a Verizon spokesperson told CNET, which is where this report is, that customers who have older basic phones can reactivate that to take advantage of the $35 a month plan. So if you have older Verizon phones, you can just reactivate it, you know, take to take a part of this $35 plan. You have to remember, mobile to mobile is not included, which leads me to say, like I said, I mean, most people are calling other mobile phones. I mean, when you're calling on your cell phone, you're normally calling someone else's cell phone. Most of the time, you're not calling unless you're going to call work or whatnot. But then you're even calling your boss on her cell phone or his cell phone. So I don't know. You know, I mean, it's $35 to join. You know, but I just don't know. And these old phones, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see this really taking off into anything big. You know, it looks like this was like just a poorly thought out reaction to what T-Mobile is doing. You know, you have all these other. The things is, you have all these other prepaid phone companies plans like a Cricket or a Track Phone or Virgin Mobile has a prepaid. You know, I mean, all these people, they have prepaid Motorola with Boost. All these carriers have prepaid plans that may not be $35 a month, yes, but the phone quality selection is better than what they're giving you here. I mean, these phones, they're saying it's for people who, you know, you don't want a smartphone and whatnot. Yeah, I guess, but $35 a month, I mean, for those old phones, I don't know. I just don't see this thing really being, you know, and then for 500 anytime minutes, that doesn't include mobile to mobile. I mean, who else am I calling? I'm calling other mobile phones. So if you're not going to have mobile to mobile in your plan, I don't know. So this is just something that I see Verizon coming out with, and you know, it's on the heels because Friday, that's when T-Mobile launched their mobile to mobile plan. I don't know. I just think that Verizon is trying to, you know, be a Me Too. They're trying to get a piece of that pie that I believe they think T-Mobile is really gonna do some damage with their flat rate and allowing you to buy phones for $20 a month, and smartphones like the iPhone 5, 99 down, 20 a month, and then for the iPhone 32 gigabyte, you have $199 down, $20 a month. I mean, come on. You know, this is going to be some serious competition, but I don't think Verizon is ready to compete with what they're coming out with. That offering right there, you can try it if you want, but at $35, no mobile to mobile included in the plan, 500 anytime minutes, and they're saying unlimited text and internet, and the internet is really not web browsing, but more like Facebook, or if you want to go to Twitter, stuff like that, but you can't go Google search. No. You know, I don't think that this is something that people should really pay attention to. To me, there's far better prepaid plans out there. You know, whether you go to a Cricket or whether you go to a Track Phone or Virgin Mobile. You know, I mean, there's just way too many options out there to go with something like this. That's, you know, giving you these 90-year-old phones that, you know, you used back in the 90s, and they're trying to rejuvenate it. Maybe they had a stock of old phones and they're like, you know, we need to get rid of these things somehow.
That's exactly what I think.
Let's come up with a prepaid plan. No, you know, we can't handle that.
It's an insult.
Yep. That's an insult to phones everywhere. Now, Devin,
Reggie,
we all we all, you know, plan for the future. We all try to do things, you know, for the future and so forth. But what do you think? I mean, what are you going to do with all of the things that you have online? I mean, all of the things that you have online, you know, when your time comes and the Lord says, okay, Devin, that's your time on earth has come to an end. You know, what are you going to do with all of your data online? I mean, what happens to it? You're gone now. All your stuff is online. Well, you don't even need to answer that question. You know why? Because Google has the answer for you. They have released a tool to deal with your data after death. That's right. Google has released that tool. According to the Washington Post, they're saying that you may be a stickler, right, for keeping control of your data and online accounts, but when you die, you don't have no control over that. You know what I'm saying? This is a question that Google is addressing with the announcement of its new tool, the Interactive Account Manager, they call it, that gives Google users the option to have information from inactive accounts wiped from the system. They say those who use the Inactive Account Manager can choose to have their data deleted 3, 6, or 9, or even 12 months after it becomes inactive. You know, users can also select the Trusted Contacts option to receive information from various Google services such as Blogger, Gmail, YouTube, and different things like that. I mean, you know, do you think that they say that accounts that have been inactive when users haven't logged in for a certain amount of time, meaning that events other than death, you know, could trigger the notification, but let's say that you haven't used it and you set it for a certain amount of time, you can have it, you know, it'll go into a timed out period where it will just either be wiped out. You can even set it to where it sends email messages to people. You know what I'm saying? So after you die, you know what I'm saying, Anne-Marie, you know, 3 months later could get a message. Anne-Marie, this is Devin. Thank you for keeping my account. You know, they let you say that. That's what this thing says. I mean, you're laughing over there. What do you think about Google's answer to you know, dealing with your data after death? I mean, you can send, you know, your daughter and your wife email from beyond the grave. You know what I'm saying? After certain things. Now, what do you think about something like that? Is Google onto something here, or is this just, you know, they're just testing to see what sticks?
Just what I always wanted. I've been waiting for this with bated breath. No sleep thinking about the possibility of this. You know? So here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Just what you've been waiting for.
Yeah, just
I mean, do you see a need for something like this as far as getting your data wiped clean, like after you, so people don't, you know, because people will use your account after you die and you're deceased. People you know, they have had reports where people have been dead and their social security numbers come up, and they, you know, or like illegal immigrants, for example, will get social security number from a dead person, and so there's not going to be any interaction. You're not alive to be using it, so there's some conflict. You know what I'm saying? So do you think this is something that's good that Google is offering?
What exactly? I mean, I think I'm missing something. What exactly are they offering now? They're offering. Just clarify for me.
Right,
then, you know. Yeah. Put you know. So.
Right. Let me read again some of the things that they're offering with this, because they said that the new tool that they're offering is called Interactive Account Manager. They said this gives the users the option of wiping your account clean. In other words, all your information, all your passwords, everything you have, YouTube accounts, everything, after a certain amount of time, whether it be, they have it from 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Those are the categories. So after that time you set, if you set it for 3 months, if it's inactive for 3 months, you're someone that always uses your account, so you say, well, if I don't use it for 3 months, I must be dead. So I'm setting it at 3 months. Set at 3 months, you can set it to just wipe everything clean in terms of everything is gone, or you could set it to send someone an email to say, take care of these things for me, whatever, you know, whoever you're trusted. They say they have a trusted contact section to where if you say, okay, after 3 months, if I'm in the hospital, because maybe you're in the hospital, you can send, say you're a single person, you send it to your mom or whoever, and it says, you know, my Google, it'll send them an email. My Google accounts have been inactive. Look after it, or whatever message you want to send. You know, it gives you this type of ability.
Does it send out a missing persons report? Anything like that?
Well, you can put that in your email.
Yeah, that
you could send email to say, I'm missing. Come look.
I'm starting to like it, actually. Yeah. I'm starting to like it because, you know, these are some of the interesting that people didn't think about.
Yeah.
And somebody thought about it and is making practical use of the technology available.
Right.
Which is automatically letter or email, you know, triggers.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
and
a good
also
thing.
the ability to just wipe it clean. If you don't have anybody that you care about, you can just delete everything and it's all gone. Yeah.
If you start a divorce, like between now and then, you just take out, you know, that significant other. And you say, just kill it.
And just wipe
it clean.
I was never married.
I'm divorced.
And according to Wired, they said that your email, blog posts, Google Plus data, contacts, documents, photos, YouTube videos can all be either sent to somebody or deleted entirely.
I can see the email coming now with that, everything that, you know, all that information. That's kind of much. Yeah, I'd prefer
for it to be wiped?
Yeah, or no, to say, listen, in a few weeks or whatever, April 15th, it's going to be wiped out. You have the option to receive or to delete. You know
and
what I'm saying?
That's what they're saying. So they're saying, like, let's say you set it up for 6 months. In 3 months, you can send a message saying, in another 3 months, my data is going to be wiped. You know, if you have use of it, look through it here, all my passwords, whatever message you want to send.
Do they have a reset? In other words, I haven't been active, right?
Right.
Do they send one to me first?
You can set it up that way. If you want to send to you, send to anybody you want. Any collection of, you could put yourself in the trusted person's option and just send it to yourself to remind yourself, or a group of people.
I'm liking it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you have a bunch of people who you want to divvy up, you know.
Responsibility.
Right. You know, so.
Yeah. So I'll send like to a chain and one person check the other. And the next person says, you know, check the other one.
So this sounds like something.
I like it. I like it.
So anyone that's interested, that Google is rolling out, it's Interactive Account Manager. So look for that coming, coming soon. Rolling out its Interactive Account Manager, so that if you have anything that you're saying, man, I just wish there was a way for me to, because not all of us have time to prepare for death. We don't, so we could close down accounts. Sometimes these things happen suddenly. So you set this thing up now and said, if my accounts go inactive for 3 months, wipe them clean, or send me a message that, look, your account has been inactive for 3 months, or send someone else a message that they can. I think this is something that's, to me, it's a simple application. Like you said, it's a simple application, but it's something that somebody thought of, and they're using today's technology for practical use. I mean, I can't argue with that. That, to me, that's something that when you think of it, it's like, man, that makes sense. Someone should have thought of it sooner. It's that type of, it just makes so much sense. It's like,
Absolutely.
man, someone didn't think of that sooner, but that's Google, man. Google, and and that's why Microsoft we started the day talking about Microsoft's contention with Scroogled, and now we end it talking about just the innovation that Google has. And people just need to, like you said, get back to that. Stop trying to badmouth this one or just look at Pandora. Pandora isn't saying don't go to iRadio. All Pandora is saying is, we got what you're looking for. 200 million users. That's it. And they're building their brand not on breaking down someone else's brand. They're building their brand by just saying, this is what we offer. If it's something you want, join us. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you good experience, making a good UI, because that's one of the biggest things. Good UI. And that's what they're doing. So we want to end by saying that this is what Tech Pulse is all about. Bringing to you, the consumer, all the different things happening in the tech world out there. You may not know these things exist, but now you do. Here on Tech Pulse. So we'd like to thank all of our sponsors. We'd like to thank all these businesses that we've been meeting at the Broward Chamber of Commerce, Broward County Chamber of Commerce symposium last weekend. And we're thankful that all of you were able to join us here on Tech Pulse. And we would like to thank everyone. And tomorrow, we'll be back with yet another Tech Pulse. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow here on Tech Pulse. Peace!